want your dad to show up. And you want reconciliation. And I know that I played a part. But I'm angry.
Hey besties, welcome back to my channel. So it's the day after the Sister Wives season 20 premiere. And honestly, if you were expecting anything real or authentic from Kody and Robyn this season, you're going to be disappointed. Their entire presence in this episode felt completely scripted, forced, and staged. That opening clip I showed you, it's from the very beginning of the episode, which both starts and ends around the same emotional point. The storyline centers a lot around Garrison. Janelle is now in North Carolina, moving forward with her life, settling in, and staying busy. She talks about how much she misses her son, and Garrison's presence really lingers for her, Christine, and their kids. But for Kody and Robyn, it's like Garrison was just a chapter that closed. Kody's already moved on. We see him brushing his 13-year-old son Solomon's hair on the way to school, trying to look like the good dad. And honestly, there's no reason Solomon can't brush his own hair. He doesn't have any known disabilities or limitations. It just comes off as performative. Then there's Madison, who gets really emotional and digs into what's caused this growing distance between Kody and his kids since Garrison's passing. It's raw and sad, and such a contrast to how disconnected Kody and Robyn seem. It really is as simple as this. Since Garrison's death, instead of doing the right thing and reaching out to his kids, trying to make amends, and actually being there for them, Kody has completely shut down. He's compartmentalized his emotions and pushed his children away. He hasn't shown up for them, not emotionally, and not even physically. At the funeral, he was distant. And afterward, instead of coming together as a family to grieve and support one another, Kody and Robyn chose to isolate themselves. They didn't even go to Erica's house. She was Curtis's widow, Kody's late brother's wife, where the rest of the family gathered. Even in the face of Garrison's death, Kody and Robyn couldn't set aside their differences or come together with everyone else. They stayed apart, showing once again how disconnected and self-focused they've become, even in a moment that should have united them. And in this new episode, it's like Garrison doesn't even exist to Kody and Robyn. They barely acknowledge him, and honestly, it feels like Kody's other kids don't exist either. Kody claims that he and his children are at an impasse, saying they'll only make amends on their own terms. But what that really means is that Kody doesn't want to be held accountable for anything. And if you're waiting for Kody or Robyn to take responsibility this season, don't hold your breath. Accountability just isn't part of their storyline anymore. Instead, they continue with the same tired victim narrative about how they didn't choose monogamy and how their marriage is supposedly struggling, even though there's absolutely no sign of struggle on screen. Kody says things like, "Robyn and I were in a plural marriage, but everyone left. We're monogamous now, but we didn't choose that." Then you have Mary perfectly summing up the truth by saying, "I didn't choose monogamy for Robyn. I chose myself. I didn't have a relationship with Kody, barely had one with Robyn, and I wasn't going to stay just so she could say she lived polygamy." That line really captures what's been going on for years. Kody and Robyn keep pretending they're victims of circumstance, that they didn't choose monogamy, when in reality they've been living as a monogamous couple for nearly a decade. Kody hasn't had meaningful relationships with Christine or Janelle for years, and he's been disconnected from Mary for over a decade. Robyn's relationship with Mary only ever existed for the cameras. Mary's comment exposes the truth. They wanted her to stick around purely to keep up the appearance of plural marriage. It's all about image, not reality. And then there's Robyn distancing herself completely now, referring to Kody's former wives as his exes instead of my sister wives. That one word shift says everything. She's erased them from her narrative. The whole "we didn't choose monogamy" excuse is ridiculous. If they admitted they did choose it, they'd have to face the truth. That Kody abandoned his other wives and kids to be with Robyn. Admitting that would make them look selfish, so instead they twist the story and act like it just happened. But here's the kicker. If Robyn really believes she didn't choose monogamy, then technically nothing's stopping her from leaving. She's not trapped. Yet she stays, enjoying the comfort of having Kody's full attention while claiming to be struggling. And her struggle doesn't exactly match reality when we see Kody brushing her kids' hair, driving them to school, and being completely hands-on. And for Robyn to act like she's new to monogamy, please. We all remember she was married to David Preston Jessup for about 10 years before Kody, a fully monogamous relationship. So this idea that she's never experienced monogamy before is just another layer of her ongoing performance. I think Robyn was married for about 8 years, and with her ex for a total of 10. So yes, she's definitely been in a monogamous relationship before. Maybe not one as publicly obvious as the one with Kody, but let's be real. She's been effectively monogamous with him since the day she joined the family. In this episode, we actually hear Kody acknowledge that losing a wife is a walk of shame in their church. But let's be honest, he's only talking about Mary. She's the only one who's officially obtained a spiritual release. Technically, that means from the church's standpoint, he's only lost one wife, even though his other marriages are clearly over. Janelle, we learn, is now in the process of getting her own release as well. Even though she no longer practices the faith, she just wants closure, the same way Mary did. What's interesting is how Kody admits that losing a wife is considered shameful, yet in the tell-all last season, he completely rejected the idea that it makes him a failure. But it does. In their belief system, losing a wife is a failure. Meanwhile, Robyn says she's getting pressure from family members about whether she and Kody plan to continue living plural marriage. Fans on Reddit were skeptical about who these so-called family members might be, but based on what's known, it's likely her sister Fawn and her brother-in-law, who happens to be a bishop in their church and lives in a plural marriage himself. Her mom and several siblings also still believe in or practice polygamy, so the pressure is probably coming from within that circle. Then there's this fascinating conversation between Kody and Robyn. They both have this way of keeping each other emotionally unstable, just in very different ways. Robyn keeps Kody insecure by constantly reminding him that she never would have married him if he hadn't been a polygamist. Even now, while they're clearly monogamous, she insists she only wanted a plural husband, someone who represented that ideal family structure she dreamed about. She likes to bring up how she turned down plenty of other men because they were monogamous, implying that Kody's current lifestyle isn't what she really signed up for. That, of course, makes Kody feel like he's not enough for her, that he somehow failed as a husband because they're not living the principle anymore. But when you really listen to Robyn's words, she sounds exactly like Christine used to. The woman has to want the family, not just the man. Robyn says things like, "If we had a guarantee that it would be wonderful and everything I dreamed of, then I'd consider it." That statement is loaded because it shows she doesn't want another sister wife. She knows there are no guarantees, that plural marriage is messy, painful, and never perfect. She's setting up impossible standards so that she can seem open to the idea while knowing it'll never actually happen. At the same time, Kody keeps her off balance in his own way by criticizing her and making comments about their sex life. He said before that he'd only consider taking another wife for the sake of having more sex, implying Robyn doesn't meet his needs. It's gross and demeaning. And when she called him out for it, even calling him a pig, it showed how toxic their dynamic has become. Robyn's response afterwards says it all. She asks, "So you have the real relationship with me, but she'd just be a concubine." She points out that relationships should be about more than sex. Women want love, tenderness, commitment, and companionship. And she's right. It's not a good enough reason to bring another person into their already fragile situation. This exchange perfectly captures their dysfunction. Robyn keeps Kody insecure by idealizing a plural marriage she'll never actually agree to, and Kody keeps her insecure by demeaning her and making everything physical. It's a cycle that keeps them both stuck and miserable while they pretend it's somehow God's plan. Okay, besties, here's the deal. My point is that it's just not a good enough reason. And for everyone who's ever given me grief for using the word concubine over the years, guess what? Robyn herself used it in this episode. I told you that's exactly how women are referred to in this culture. A concubine is basically a woman brought in for sex, someone the husband takes while still keeping his main wife. So when Robyn used that word, she was really speaking in code, basically saying Kody just wants a sex object, a piece, while she remains the official wife. Kody tries to argue that's not enough of a reason to bring in another woman, and Robyn fires back, saying there's this weird expectation that when Kody had multiple wives, there was a surplus of sex, but now that he's only with her, it's not enough. She insists their sex life is fine, that it's never been an issue. But honestly, ever since Christine's book came out, all I can think about whenever they bring up sex are those infamous hour-long massages Kody supposedly demands. Then Kody launches into one of his bizarre statements, saying that a polygamist man gets too much sex, while a monogamist doesn't get enough. He even says the only way he'd ever consider taking another wife is if she was a diamond, someone who adored Robyn, didn't feel jealous, and wouldn't compare herself to Robyn's relationship with him. But here's the irony. If Kody actually brought another woman into the picture, Robyn would suddenly be the old wife. She'd be the one feeling jealous and insecure while he fawned over his new shiny partner. And we already know Robyn isn't capable of sharing. She's made that perfectly clear. The entire conversation between them feels so staged and contrived, like they're trying to convince themselves they're still living the principle, when really neither of them wants another wife. Kody claims he doesn't want to deal with the jealousy or the nagging, and Robyn only wants another wife if everything is perfect. That means it's never going to happen. They just keep going in circles with this same conversation to avoid admitting the truth, that their version of plural marriage failed. And when Kody actually blurts out, "We failed," it was painful. It's one of the only honest moments he's had in years. Then comes his typical meltdown. Out of nowhere, he starts yelling, red-eyed, ranting, clearly unhinged. And you're left wondering what on earth triggered him this time. He claims women can't handle polygamy because of jealousy and sex, saying things like, "Once Robyn and I started being intimate, everyone turned on us." He concludes that women just can't handle the lifestyle, that it's not fair to Robyn or the others, but then insists it doesn't matter because it's the life they chose. By the end, he's furious, declaring, "I'm a monogamist now," and complaining that people annoy him when they ask why he'd still want to be monogamous. Then Robyn tries to reassure him, saying it sounds good, though you can tell she's still unsure where she actually stands. In principle, I think Robyn wants to believe she still values plural marriage because that's what her family practices. Maybe she still clings to the fantasy of being the queen wife, the one who brings everyone to the celestial kingdom. But the truth is, they don't even follow the faith anymore. They've abandoned most of the beliefs and rules. They drink alcohol, they swear, she drinks coffee, doesn't wear garments, and dresses more casually now. You can't just pick and choose which parts of fundamentalist Mormonism you want to follow. If you reject one core teaching, the whole system falls apart. So if Robyn doesn't really believe in it anymore, why keep pretending? Maybe it's about image or money, or just not wanting to look like a failure. But honestly, it feels like she's using this uncertainty as leverage. She keeps Kody unstable by acting like she's not sure whether she wants to stay monogamous. And Kody, in turn, keeps her off balance by hinting that if she doesn't give him enough attention, he might look elsewhere. At this point, I joked they might as well just become swingers. It would save them a lot of drama. If Kody wants to sleep around and Robyn wants freedom, just do it and stop pretending this is about faith. In the end, what I really took from this episode is that Kody and Robyn's relationship is boring. They don't have any real connection or substance, so they recycle the same tired arguments season after season. Their dynamic is built on manipulation and insecurity, not partnership or faith. And honestly, Kody still comes off as a fake dad and a husband with no emotional depth. So what did you all think? Did it gross you out as much as it did me? Did it feel weird, fake, and overly staged? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to like the video, drop some hype to help with the algorithm, ring the bell, and subscribe for more Sister Wives updates. Next time, we'll talk about some brewing tension between Christine and Janelle. Thanks for watching, besties. See you soon.